words as well. So we'll see. So in this next topic, we all know that there is a $7,500 federal tax credit on the Model 3 and the Model Y, but if your estimated delivery date just got pushed past March 31st, you might get screwed on the tax credit. And so we'll talk about it. There's this Reddit thread that I found where people are talking about it and jumping into the discussion on potentially what the tax credit could actually change to. But I'm going to think positive. Maybe there's a good thing at the end of the tunnel, and maybe on April 1st, all this talk about it actually disappearing might actually not go completely away. So we'll talk about it, and I want to know all your thoughts as well. So definitely drop it in the live stream or even in the comments down below. So let us, if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, which is basically just getting the best deal on a really good financing on your Tesla. So definitely hit that subscribe. So here we go. This is the Reddit thread. Of course, it's titled very nicely, "Screwed on Tax Credit." So it looks like in this thread, the original delivery date for this person was Monday the 27th. And that, of course, was in tomorrow, actually. And it was before the tax credit, because what we know is the tax credit does end as it stands right now on March 31st. And what we also know on top of that is that the U.S. Treasury announced last week that this coming week, they're going to release more guidelines on what it actually is going to be for the vehicles. And if you don't know what that actually means, there is a $7,500 federal tax credit on electric vehicles, and it's actually broken out into two parts. First part is where the critical battery minerals are sourced from. That's $3,750, and the battery components, if it is manufactured in the U.S., that's the other $3,750. And so what we know so far is that the Model 3 standard range specifically does not and will not qualify for any of the tax credit. So if you've got a pending delivery, try and take a delivery ASAP if you want to take advantage of the $7,500 federal tax credit. But, I'm going to think positive. So, just in case if the Model 3 does lose the $7,500 federal tax credit, I could easily see Tesla dropping the price of the Model 3 in the near future, because here's a price history tracker chart. We'll go through this quickly, but the lowest price of the Model 3 standard range was actually about $6,000 less than what it currently is right now. So it's in Tesla's range. But jumping back to this, of course, it's about the Model Y, and everybody is talking about the Model Y because it is the hottest car. And so now they're trying to speculate whether it's going to go down to $3,750 or even will the tax credit go down to zero. But this is what everybody keeps citing. So here's an article from Electric in which they talk about how the $7,500 federal tax credit is going away for the Model 3 standard range. But there's a paragraph in here that everybody keeps citing. But the funny thing with this paragraph, it's not like a definite thing. It's really just a speculation on top of speculation, like what we're doing right now. But you can see right here, as quote, as for the Tesla other Model 3 and Model Y vehicles in the US, they are expected to retain access to the full credit as they're using battery cells built by Tesla or Panasonic in Nevada, California, or Texas. So of course, this would be good news, because then maybe, that tax credit would stay 100% in the full $7,500 for the Model Y and Model 3. And what we can try and piece together and maybe support that is if you go to the Model Y page on the Tesla.com website, you can see it says new vehicles qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit. It hasn't changed for a bit. But if you go to the Model 3 page, it says tax credit changes coming soon. So you would think they would make that the same on both pages if they knew that the Model Y was losing the $7,500 tax credit, maybe even going to $3,750. And on top of that, with inventory hitting new levels on the Tesla websites, this is waiting for Tesla, there's 353 brand new Tesla Model Ys. You would think that they would also, like Tesla themselves, would also communicate to their sales team the same thing that they did to their sales teams here by telling telling their sales team that the Model 3 was losing the $7,500 federal tax credit as well. So hopefully that makes sense. So I certainly feel like, maybe Tesla won't lose the 7,500 federal tax credit for the Model Y. I mean, I'm fingers crossed. That'll be good for Tesla. I mean, if you can for sure bet that Tesla will also go to increase the price of the Model Y, but it's just good news for everybody that's locked in right now, that has a same price as before, because of course your price will not change if Tesla decides to up the price. But even if Tesla does lose the 3,700 or 3,000, half of the tax credit, 3750, or even the full 7,500, you can for sure bet Tesla is not just going to sit on their butt. They'll probably wait it out and see whether or not people start to cancel, maybe wait a week or two. I mean, April, the good thing with April, it's the first month of the second quarter. And so just think, like in January, when the 7,500 discount went away, because that ran through December, and that was just a line item discount off of the price, they kind of sat around when it went away from January 1st to January 13th. They sat around, they didn't do anything. And then on January 13th, they dropped the price of the Model Y long range $13,000. You can see it right here on the price history chart. And so if it goes away on April 1st, if the 7,500 federal tax credit goes away on April 1st, you can for sure bet, I would say, that within 2 weeks to 3 weeks, Tesla will make some massive price adjustments to make sure that they don't lose any sales. And if we take a look at it right now, the price of the Model Y long range is $54,990. It was $52,990 just a few weeks ago. And so if it loses $37.50, they'll just drop it $37.50 and still be higher than what they've been before in the past. You can see lowest the price that the Model Y has ever been was $49,000. So they could still drop it $37.50 and still be maybe $3,000. I can't do quick maths, higher than what their lowest price has ever been. So hopefully that makes sense. You know, I've got a good outlook that Tesla will still continue to keep the 7,500 federal tax credit or even the 3,750, but we really have no idea at this moment. Hopefully we get more information from the US Treasury this week. I would imagine it could be all the way as late as Friday, but you can for sure bet we will make a video the same day or when we hear it initially first, because that's going to be big news. And I know a lot of you out there are waiting and seeing what type of changes are coming, and it's pretty nerve-wracking as well. But my advice is, if you don't see a video from me, if you don't hear anything and you're still a little anxious about whether it has the 7,500 tax credit or not, you can call the IRS. They do have a hotline somewhere on this page. I called it the other week or two, and you can just verify with them, like, hey, I'm about to buy an electric vehicle, it's a Tesla, has the IRS, the Treasury, released any more guidelines on the EV tax credit? And they'll say yes or no, and then you can kind of make your decision from there. So hopefully that's some good advice. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense for you. We're going to jump into the live stream comments, but before we do that, this video is sponsored by my Patreon link. Down in the description is the Patreon link, so definitely check it out if you're interested.